This video is brought to you by Squarespace, the best way to make an amazing website. Hey guys, it's Max. Today we are taking a look at and testing out the brand new Zoom F2 recorders, and with that I will be comparing it to one of my favorite recorders, but also one that's been very frustrating over the last few years, the Tascam DR-10L. Now these recorders are absolutely amazing to be able to clip it onto somebody. It will record onto an SD card that is built in, and you don't have to worry about interference or any issues that come up, other than one issue, basically having your gain be set too high and then you might clip, even though we have a negative 12 decibel backup track in the limiter, or it can sound just crunchy with that limiter. Or the other issue is you set it too low and then you have a lot of noise, which has definitely happened to me many times. All right, so first impressions, this thing is insanely lightweight. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow, okay. I wasn't really sure about the size when I ordered this in, when I saw it online. I thought it probably could be similar to this. Let's go ahead and remove this lav mic, but dang, okay, so it is quite a bit smaller. It is a lot lighter, dramatically lighter. Even at the thickest point, it is still a little bit thinner, and then it tapers down at the top instead of the Zoom, which actually gets thicker. So if we compare the tops, that is a pretty big difference. But as far as weight, my goodness. Now the Tascam does have a battery in, and it uses a single AAA battery compared to the Zoom, which uses two AA batteries. And because of that, you can get up to 18 hours of battery life, depending on which batteries you use, compared to up to 10 hours. So the battery life could be more than twice as good. Now, typically the batteries I use, you will get roughly say 6 to 8 hours with this Tascam if you're enabling the dual recording. So you have two tracks at once to have that safety. I think that takes more power. And I'm always nervous about the battery life as well, especially when I was shooting weddings. Now all of that is nice and good, but that's not why I just spent a bunch of money on these new recorders when I have so many others. It is because this Zoom F2, it has floating 32-bit recording, which means that it is almost impossible to clip your audio. And we're gonna be testing out that in a second, along with the microphone quality with the included microphones. But first, let me give a shout out to the sponsor of this video, Squarespace. If you've been thinking about making your own website, now is the time, and Squarespace is seriously the best way to go. You can build a great looking website like we did with literally no web making experience. And it doesn't matter if you want a portfolio, a blog, e-commerce, or anything else. You just choose a template and customize blocks of text and images. It's incredibly simple, it is affordable, and ours have been running flawlessly for years now, bringing in new clients thanks to its built-in SEO tools. Start your free 2-week trial with no credit card needed by going to squarespace.com/maxyuryev or by using the custom link down below. And when you're ready to launch, you will save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Let's go ahead and grab our mics. Now, as far as the actual capsules themselves, the Zoom's capsule is pretty dang big. And instead of using this little cap with a windscreen like the Tascam has, we actually just have a regular little windscreen cover that goes on top, which I don't like as much. It's easier for it to fall off. But what I love is that this clip right here that actually holds the lavalier mic, it can spin around by itself, which it makes it so easy. On the Tascam, one of my frustrations is that in order for you to rotate and flip to the other side of a jacket, you actually have to take this capsule to cover off, pull it through, spin it around, put it in the other way. As far as SD cards, the Tascam only supports SD cards up to 32 gigs, which is good enough. A gig of recording gets you about 2 hours, and if you're using dual record, which I always do, you kind of have to double that. Whereas the Zoom actually supports up to 512 gigabyte micro SD cards, which is absolutely crazy. Now, another difference you might see is that the Tascam does have this display. Right now we're seeing levels when I'm talking, and you have your battery life, and then it's showing that we're not recording with a little file here. The Zoom does not have a display at all. You have two little LEDs, one for your battery life and one showing that you have an input. Now the battery life part kind of sucks. That would be nice to have maybe just 3 or 4 little LEDs. But with that, on the Tascam, I found this little meter to be fairly unreliable. Sometimes I start out looking like I have 3/4 and then it really quickly drops. And I have had multiple times where I go to pick up this recorder off of the talent and it is dead. And I missed part of the recording, which was terrible. So after that, I just start switching batteries whenever I'm doing a new shoot, pop in another battery just to make sure. Now, one concern I have with the Zoom is the recording button and this little hold switch, because it is quite large. On the Tascam, it is recessed in here, and it's actually slightly a pain to turn it on. You gotta go ahead and push forward, it's gonna start recording, and then we actually lose our little levels. Once you're recording, you don't see any of that. And on the Zoom, let's go ahead and try to hit record. All right, we have a little recording LED, that is nice. And, all right, actually, that's a pretty good amount of pressure. And I just flicked it to off. The battery is flashing, but it's still on, and it looks like it's still recording. I wonder if you accidentally flip this, which actually has a lot of pressure required, it won't stop recording unless you actually hit. All right, so now it shut off. So that is actually good. And now let's go ahead and compare the audio quality and that 32-bit recording. I'm gonna go ahead and clip these onto my shirt. Bam, we're all set. And on the Tascam, I'm gonna set my gain. So this always gets me trying to set it because people get too quiet or too loud afterwards. I'm gonna hit high. I think I will go with that, and we will start our recording. And it's crazy to me that with the Zoom, you just turn it on and you hit record. There's no adjusting anything. All right, so we are set there. And this is the microphone quality of the Tascam DR-10L that I've owned for years now. I've used at tons of weddings and other events, and overall it's been amazing not to have to worry about interference with the wireless packs and having the dual recording functionality. But I still have messed up as far as levels, too loud, too quiet, batteries, issues like that. And then now this is the new Zoom F2 with floating 32-bit recording, so there's no gain to set. The battery life is a lot better as well, and in general, Zooms are less picky than Tascams in my experience as far as SD cards. So here's the sound quality. I'll flip back to the DR-10L. This is how it sounds like, and then back to the Zoom F2. This is how that sounds like. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. We do have some room noise here, so I'm not gonna denoise that for this audio like I do for my main one. If I end up doing a full review on the Zoom, maybe I'll talk about that, but I know the Tascam does have a fairly high noise floor as well, but it's still well worth using it. And now let's go ahead and test out the 32-bit floating recovery, I guess, if we're talking way too loud. So this is me talking very loud and possibly overloading the Tascam DR-10L, blowing it out. And then now let's switch back over to the Zoom. This is how it sounds like if I don't make any adjustments. And now let's get even louder. Somebody's yelling or whatever. You're watching and recording and you're just worried, the audio is gonna sound terrible. Can the Zoom still sound good when you pull it down? And then how does the Tascam sound? In this case, the -12 is probably also being blown out. All right, guys, that was way too loud. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Now, another feature that the F2 offers is Bluetooth if you pay about 50 bucks extra, which I did. That allows you to connect to your phone, and then you can adjust certain settings. You can hit record, and it looks like you can monitor your input. So let's go ahead and open that up. Bam, our F2 showed up right away. It's connected, and there you go. So now we're actually looking at my levels. So this is the recording that I just did. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's a way for me to download it onto my phone using Bluetooth, which is a bummer. Let's go ahead and go back to home, and here I have my battery life. So you can connect with Bluetooth and get better detail on battery life than just a little LED. My recording time, all of my settings. Let's go ahead and hit record. Looks like about 2-second delay. Bam, we are recording, and then you can actually go ahead and lock on the app itself. And I'm curious, I have it set to on here and I locked it. Will it still allow me to stop? Nothing. Very, very interesting. So if you connect with Bluetooth and you lock it here, people can't stop the recording themselves. So that is actually a pretty cool feature. That might be worth the Bluetooth functionality alone, just being able to throw this on somebody and not have to worry that they might accidentally stop the recording if you're able to just control it from the app itself. So So there you guys go. There is my comparison of the new Zoom F2, my first initial look and testing it out, to the Tascam. Overall, it is much smaller, it is lighter with better battery life, and not blow out your audio if somebody gets way too loud. All right, guys, thank you guys for watching. Definitely go and check out Squarespace if you guys need a website, if you need to update an old one. They are very easy, they're amazing, great customer service. Highly recommend them. This is Max, and I will see you in the next video.